Spellbound, Chapter 18. I knew better than to fight back. I only established myself as a difficult prisoner needing more guides. Instead, just look and learn. Take note of the players. Study their personalities and weaknesses. As I was being laid from my room, my job was to pay attention, learn the layout, form an escape route. A worthy plan, one that would have been a lot easier to put into motion had I not been blindfolded the whole fucking time. Still, I paid attention. How far did we walk? How many turns did we make? What did the floor feel like under my sneakers? Was it concrete, wood, carpet? What did I smell? What did I hear? There was a dampness to the air I associated with basements. Underground, then? The hard floor, like the concrete, suggested I was right. That made it tough. When I'd been held captive before, it'd been underground. And I remember the hellish time Elena had getting out. I had been so difficult that she had to return for me later with Paige and the others. I shoved down the flare of panic. This wasn't the same situation. There were no cells here. Probably no other captives, just me, special as always. When they took off the blindfold, I was in the room with 10 people, including Ronnie, Althea, Gills, and the tortured twins. I filed away the names of the newcomers, storing them until they did something to prove they might be dangerous or useful. For now, there were 5 more bodies to get past on my way to the exit. 10 people in the group, that wasn't bad. Other than Althea and Gales, they were all young, 20s and early 30s. The idealism of youth seemed to have skipped me, but I blamed that on growing up with Paige and Lucas, whose idealism shines like the noonday sun. I learned to stop pulling the shades before I went blind. Okay, look, I said when they finished introductions. I'd say I'm pleased to meet all of you, but you know that's bullshit. I'm your prisoner. I don't know where I am. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want from me. So now you're ready to start asking questions, Althea said. If you think holding me in a room for a day or two will make me break down and tell you everything, don't bother. If you've done your research, you'll know I've been kidnapped before. I spent weeks in a cell. I'm not going to snap and betray my friends for warm blankets and a feather pillow. Guess we'll have to do this another way then, Sierra smiled. Shall I get my tools, Gales? Ronnie flinched. I was pretty sure Althea did too. The others shifted uncomfortable. Gales only gave her a look of stern disapproval. There will be none of that, he said. Savannah is angry, and rightfully so. I can assure her, though, that we weren't deliberately withholding answers. We were simply waiting until everyone was here to participate in this meeting. So can we get to it now? He smiled. Yes, I won't keep you waiting any longer. Right this way, please. He walked to a door and held it open. Inside, it was dark. I stopped ready to dig in my heels, then he pulled back a curtain, and I saw a light beyond. Ronnie hurried ahead to hold back the curtain for me. Gales had already disappeared. The others were behind me. Sierra jostled past, her brother following. The others circled wider, passing until it was only Althea, Ronnie, and me. I glanced back. I could take 'em. Even without spells, I was sure I could. It was the other 8 people only a few yards away that posed a problem. I continued into the meeting room. Ahead, Gales was blathering in his outdoor voice, and it bounced off the walls so loudly I couldn't make out the words until I walked through the curtain. We were stopped there in an alcove, the rest of the group hidden from view, as Gales paced the front of the room and talked. We have promised you many things, he was saying, and while we continue to work together to bring our dreams to fruition, I have now delivered on one of my promises. He turned and motioned forward, a step past the end of the curtain, and a gasp went up, then a cheer. May I present a young lady who needs no introduction, Miss Savannah Levon. I turned and looked out, found myself on the stage, overlooking an auditorium. An auditorium filled with people all looking up at me and cheering. Oh shit. At first, all I could hear was the cheering, and when that stopped, the thundering of my own blood filled my ears. I stared out at the sea of faces. I tried to count them. My brain stuttered, and I had to start over, and finally gave up and counted rows, estimating instead. Close to 200 people filled that room. 200 supernaturals aligned to expose the supernatural world. No, maybe I was wrong. I guess these were the people behind the uprising, but my only proof was Sierra and Savannah. No way there be this many supernaturals already aligned in a plan that everyone with a brain knew was madness. It'd be a damn suicide cult. Girls were still emoting as he paced the stage. Long have supernaturals waited for this day. We have waited patiently because we knew it would come. The signs would appear, the signs foretold in the Philogene prophecy. Philogene's prophecy? I searched for a memory of such a thing. So, supernaturals had prophecies like any other group. Predictions of the future written by some nut job, then warped and stretched to fit a current position. Proof the world was going to end. Proof that it was time to reveal ourselves, though. I'd never heard of that one. The signs have been cleared, he continued. Signs that our day of revelation is coming. He paused for a chair. Signs that our day of dominance is coming. A big cheer now, so loud it made my ears ring. Dominance? Seriously? What? Supernaturals are going to take over the world? Were these people idiots? I barely passed high school math and I could do the calculations. Humans outnumber us by tens of thousands to one. Now we prepare to put our plan in motion. What plan? Sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their heads? First, though, we must complete the gathering of the signs. Once we have them all, others will come. They will join our cause and unite to make this kind of world supernaturals deserve. A world where we don't need to hide, don't need to cower, don't need to fear percussion. And why should we fear persecution? We are supernaturals, we are superior. This is our birthright and we will seize it now. The crowd roared, the sarcasm bled from my thoughts. I stared out at that room and I saw the exhilaration and the anger, the pride and the resentment. I looked out there and I saw myself. There was a force that could grow into something beyond our worst nightmares, because it didn't matter how illogical the plan was. What these people felt was not logical. It was a hunger and hatred that boiled in their veins. I'd grown up with that hunger and that hatred, that desire to make my power felt, and even now I felt the pull of it. I heard that voice inside me that said I was special. I was superior. That voice that had screamed every time a teacher tried to tell me what to do. Every time any human tried to tell me what to do. A voice that had begged me to strike them down, blast them with a spell, and show them exactly who they were dealing with. Grown up meant coming to terms with that voice, recognizing it for what it really was. Misplaced pride. I'd done nothing to earn my magic. I was born to it like a princess is born to her crown. In a land without princesses, that didn't earn me jack shit. I could rail against my fate, or I could say that it was the only right, that deed, not birth, should earn privilege. That egalitarian view didn't come from inside me. It was learned from the examples of those I saw around me, mainly from Paige and Lucas. Had I continued to grow up in my mother's world of dark magic, I could be sitting in that audience believing that humans were weaklings to be manipulated, conned, fleeced, then mocked over rounds at the pub. Yet, my mother's crowd wouldn't join this movement. These were the next generations, the ones still naive enough to think they could expose their secrets without consequence, fight humans without self-annihilation. All it might take was some mystical crap about the planets being aligned or signs coming to pass. Speaking of signs, that's what Gales was emoting about now. Born of two werewolves, male and female. Not just any two werewolves, but bitten wolves. One infected as a mere child, and somehow surviving where adults could not. Then he bites his lover and she survives. The strength of these two individuals alone must be incredible, but to come together, their blood already joined, and bear children, twins, a boy and a girl, as it is written in our prophecy. Prophecy like hell. If this guy was telling these kids that Elena and Clay's twins fulfilled some kind of fucking prophecy. Those children are the genesis of a new breed of werewolves, part of the next step in our evolution. But they are only one part of that step. We have seen more. One stands before you now. A hybrid of the two spell-casting races equally adept at both kinds of magic, and she is not the last. There is another, born of witch and sorcerer, a child just coming into her powers now. Another witch sorcerer? No way. I would have heard of it, just like I would have heard of this goddamn prophecy. Rage boiled up in me as I looked out over those stupid, gullible faces. I wanted to scream at them, knock some sense into their empty heads. I shifted and glowered and fought to keep my mouth shut. Faces turned toward me. Only they didn't look up with the dawning realization that they were falling for the bladder of a crazy man. When they saw my anger, they saw proof that Gales was right. I was furious because he discovered the truth. I ran in anger, forced myself to stand still and listen. Clairvoyants have attained the next step of evolution too, he continued. Locked away deep in the recesses of the Nas Cabal, there is a child born of two clairvoyants, one of such incredible power his own people kept him hidden from the world. Now the Nas hide this child because they know the truth. He is but the first of a new breed of clairvoyants that the Cabals are hell-bent on controlling as they control everything else in our world. A grumble quaked across the room. A few people shouted things I didn't quite catch, but I'm sure it wasn't long live the Cabals. Even the half-demons are evolving, Gales continued. A child of Lucifer is pregnant with a babe of her own, the first grandchild this Lord Demon will ever see. Its mother is the key to winning us what may be the most undeniable proof that the gods of evolution have chosen the supernaturals as their champions. Proof that resides in the deepest cells of yet another cabal, the Cortezes. That's why Ronnie had been so interested in Hope. Damn it. I had to get out of here and warn her. I had to warn them all. As I looked around, yeah, like a porter was going to miraculously appear and whisk me away. I replayed Gale's words. He said that hope was the key to getting them proof of advanced evolution, something that the Cortezes were keeping hidden. No, not something, someone. Jazz. Jasper Hagg, a psychopath obsessed with hope. The guy in her recent visions. Kate and Logan. Hope Jazz, Hope's unborn baby. Adele Morasi's clairvoyant son. Me. Some other witch sorcerer hybrid kid I've never heard of. Maybe I never heard this exact prophecy, but I heard the whispers about us, claiming they were signs that something was coming, something big. I fluffed it off as superstitious garbage. To every supernatural in a position of knowledge and power, it was just ignorant supernatural struggling to see patterns in chaos. Now, though, we live in an age where strange events could be shared with every supernatural who had an internet connection. The people ignoring the signs were the informed ones, those from the council and the cabals with records to prove these events weren't more than a historical blip. They were the elite, and in any society, the avenged citizen outnumbers the elite by hundreds or thousands to one. I looked out at a small sample of those average citizens, and I could only imagine how many more hadn't heard Gale's message. Those who needed just a little more convincing, like having him gather every one of those signs and shove them in the faces of the general supernatural populace. The revival meeting continued for another 20 minutes, though Gales added nothing new, just kept repeating his message and making promises, which his audience hung on his every word. The man had the gift of persuasion, an obvious experience in using it. So where had he come from? I detected a faint French accent. Very faint. It reminded me of Cassandra's just the barest roll of her R's and buzzes on her TH. Signs of a life in France hundreds of years ago. Ronnie had hinted that Gales was old, really old. Could he be a vampire like Cassandra? When I studied him, though, I could see him breathing. She also said I was going to flip when I found out who he really was. Who he was, not what. Did that mean Gales was a fake name? But why? Was the goal to convert me? Send me back to the council and the cabals as a sleeper agent? Or a missionary for those open to his message? If that was the case, then my escape route was clear. Fake a conversion. I just needed to be very careful how I did it. When the meeting ended, Gales whispered me into the back room, where Ronnie alternate refreshments waited, bottled water, juice, and a lovely meat and cheese tray. I ignored the food and drank. Gales joked that it wasn't poison and sampled the offerings first. I still wouldn't touch anything. Ronnie kept casting anxious glances my way, like she couldn't believe I heard Gales smile and wasn't hailing him as a prophet. Gales and Arthur seemed unconcerned. If I had experienced a sudden conversion, they know I was faking. Yet, once it became apparent that I wasn't going to make a good party guest, Gales decided I was spoiling the mood. He hinted that I could stay if I ate something. When I refused, it was back to my cell. He returned me himself blindfolded, accompanied by Ronnie and Severin. He sent Sierra on some tasks with Aldia. Did that mean Gales had already decided I was only worth half a guard detail? Good. So what did you think of our little meeting, Savannah? I shrugged, counting out 3 more steps, and said, "That prophecy you were talking about, I've never heard of it before." He chuckled. "I'm not surprised. Your circle keeps you quite insinuated, don't they?" "No, I'm a lot better informed than most of those kids. I have complete access to council records, agency records, cabal records, coven records, even the werewolves pack's legacy. Everything fit for your reading and consumption." I scrunched my nose, turning my blindfolded eyes toward him in feigned confusion. "Huh? They gave the appearance of total access. But all the information is filtered through them, is it not? If, for example, Paige Winterbourne had council records she didn't want you to see, she simply removed them from the files." I said I didn't think she'd do that, but let some doubt creep into my voice. And he replied with a discondescending, "I'm sure she wouldn't." I counted off another 3 steps. "So this prophecy, do you think the cabals have it?" "Somewhere, though I wouldn't be surprised if even your guardians didn't know about it. Their access is filtered as well." "It's all filtered, Savannah, to keep everyone in her place." A big pause. "Especially you." This time I'm sure it was him who was counting off steps before he said, "They're afraid of you, Savannah. You know that, don't you? As well they should be." He chuckled. "No confidence issues, I see. A breath of fresh air compared to those young people you just saw in the auditorium. They've been raised to believe their powers are a threat. To hide their light under a bushel, exactly. Well, that's not how I was brought up. Paige and Lucas and everyone know how powerful I am, and they're fine with it. Are they? Sure. They even help me improve my powers through practice and control." Control? He let the word hang there. I struggled to look like I was considering his words, maybe chafing at the thought of that control. "Are you sure they're fine with it?" he said. "Your level of power, the dark source of that power, do you share all your magic with them?" I twitched at that. "I didn't mean to." He gave a soft chuckle. "I didn't think so." A door creaked. "I'd like you to consider that, Savannah. Why do you feel it necessary to hide things from them? Do you think they're holding you back? I suspect deep down you do." Hands pushed me forward, rough hands. Gail said, "Careful, Severin, she's our guest, not our prisoner." Severin yanked off my blindfold, and I found myself back in a dark cell. The door clicked closed behind me. Alone again.